Bontemps, you don't think the Nuggets have had a good few days, although their rings will look gorgeous in October.
No, I think they've had a very, very bad couple of days. They were kind of a thin team already that didn't really have any injuries last year, and they lost Bruce Brown and they lost Reggie. They didn't lose Reggie Jackson. They lost Bruce Brown and they lost Jeff Green, and they didn't replace him. And I mean, they've had a very good developmental system there, and they're going to be relying very heavily on a lot of young guys, on Christian Brown, on Peyton Watson, who showed some flashes last year, an athletic wing. They drafted a couple guys this year in the draft, Jalen Pickett and Julian Strother. Like, they're going to need them to probably play. Like, they're betting on Nikola Jokic doing his thing and lifting guys up, and Christian Brown, who struggled at times in the playoffs, had a couple big games, and other times was not really in Michael Malone's rotation. Like, he's going to have to step up.
He's a good looking prospect in the rotation.
For sure. I mean, for sure. But he barely played for most of the playoffs and was bad at times when he was out there. So, like, it's a very big jump to go from that to playing 35 minutes a game, which is what Bruce Brown was doing sometimes, playing in the closing lineup over Michael Porter Jr. Like, I'm not saying Denver's like falling off the map as a championship contender or something, but you know, it hasn't been a very good couple of days from a depth standpoint.
It was surprising that they used $10 million 2-year deal on Reggie Jackson, a guy who barely played for them.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, because I believe they were just telling Jeff Green, we want you back, but we can only give you the minimum. Jeff Green was a consistent rotation player for them. And obviously he's getting up there in the years, but you can't tell.
He got $6 million from the Rockets. His market was there at $6 million.
And Jeff Green was a great locker room guy. I was a little bit surprised. If you're going to pay, $5 million a year for a vet, it seems to me it should be the vet who actually played for you in the playoffs. So that one surprised me a little bit. I was a little surprised that Christian Brown wasn't or isn't going to play for their summer league team at all. And you can say, well, most rookies who play significant rotation players don't. But if they want him stepping into Bruce Brown's shoes, which obviously they do, I thought he could have benefited from the same thing that the Memphis Grizzlies did with Desmond Bane.
That's the thing about Bruce Brown. The guy handles the ball.
Right.
That was a piece of their team.
Right. Desmond Bane,
because they traded Monte Morris to get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Monte Morris was one of the better backups in the league, and Bruce Brown coming in to handle it made a big difference for them.
A big difference. And it also made a big difference for him in terms of bumping his value, because he was able to prove he could do that. But like the Grizzlies after Desmond Bane's rookie year, when he was a very good role player, but he was basically just a catch and shoot guy offensively, said, hey, we don't see you as a point guard, but we want you to develop those skills. You're going to summer league and you're going to be the point guard for our summer league team. If you turn the ball over 8 times a game, we don't care. We want you working on that stuff. I thought putting Christian Brown in that same situation could have been beneficial. So I was a little surprised by that. They absolutely need Peyton Watson to be a rotation player. That's something they were anticipating anyway. And like you said, he showed some flashes late in the season when they let him play. They weren't really trying to win games. And then I got to mention the second most impactful Slovenian in the NBA these days, now that Goran Dragic is gone, Vlatko Čančar, the phenomenal half-court shooter. Hit one against the Mavs in that game where they finished halftime, or they finished the second quarter after halftime. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Some weird, I forget exactly what happened, but actually there's an extra second on the clock. We'll just take care of it after halftime. They subbed Vlatko in there. That man coolly he hit a 50 some odd footer. And the funny thing is, he's lost a lot of money over the years to half court shooting bets against Luka, but it's helped him develop into that. Anyways, he's a guy who's played some. They need him probably to step into at least a 10, 15 minute per game role next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of it's part of the tax, frankly, of having an owner that doesn't want to spend a lot of money on his basketball team, despite having $1 gazillion. But this is also sort of what the new system.
They're in the tax now. They're in the tax.
They
So-
are, but I mean, they could have paid Jeff Green, and they didn't.
They're looking for blue light specials.
I mean,
And they got some last year, so we'll see. But look, I'm just saying, like as I pointed out during the finals run, the Nuggets played 8 players in their championship run, and 4 of them they got last summer.
and 2 of them now are gone.
Well, hey,
That's right.
they did bring back DeAndre. You can't be too bad of a.
That is true, and
I was
DeAndre got
setting
minutes.
this up. I was
Got
setting
minutes
this
in
up.
Game 5.
I was setting this up for our latest DeAndre mention as we get him into every pod
and listen,
one way, shape, or form.
They've got a couple first round picks this year, and so there's a couple guys that the Cronkies can target.
Calvin Booth
market
is
violations.
made his. He basically, one of the reasons he got the job as a general manager is because he's a good scout, and so.
Yeah, they've had a great developmental system there for a long time, but like they're really leaning on it now. Like, they're going to need Zignachi to play more minutes. Like all these young guys have got to step into big roles and produce. But
their guy
maybe
running the developmental program is John Beckett, former Eckerd College Triton point guard there. You might know Eckerd College is a school that I went through a preseason program and realized I was going to be riding pine and decided my talents were better served the party, so I quit the team. He came around a couple years later.
Yeah, well, in a related story, you got to get to the airport for Summer League. Thank you for listening to the Collective Podcast. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where we draw the line.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.